Hi, it's Susan. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a haul video, a humongous haul video. You guys are not going to believe the stuff that I got yesterday. And literally it was for free. I made a donation on my way out the door, but they don't expect any money for this stuff. And so what this is a place called Fabmo here in the California Bay Area, and came to mind with a couple of people years ago, about a dozen years ago, I think, that the designer showrooms in San Francisco, the textile showrooms doing all this beautiful upholstery material, when the season was over and new fabrics came out, they were just tossing all this fabric out in the dumpster. And guess where it was going? Off to the landfill. And they thought, you know, we can do better than that. So they volunteered to go pick up the textiles and bring them back to their home. That's where it basically started, was in their living room, and sort it out and see if they could get it into the hands of teachers that could use them for projects in schools, to artists, to people that were making things maybe for the senior centers, whatever. Anyways, they offered it for free just so it wouldn't go out to the landfill. And it has grown and grown and grown. So when I lived on the other side of the hill, I knew about that and I never went. Now they come out to my area, I think twice a year, and it's a good thing they don't come any more often because the house would be soon overflowing with fabric. There were so many goodies. And some of you that have watched my haul videos before know that I get some upholstery samples from the guy here in town, but they're usually kind of small, like the size of just a couple of these. But the ones I was able to get yesterday were huge, and some of them are just like the perfect size for journal covers. There's all kinds of stuff. So I went looking for lace. They didn't have any lace available, but I also went looking for cotton and linen so I could use it for dyeing and for my slow stitching that I'm doing. And then anything else that kind of spoke to me. And as you will see, there's a lot. I mean, grab your beverage of choice, sit down, because it's going to be a while. And I'm just going to flip through these quickly because I want to sit down tonight and take all the tags off of things. Some nice yellow linen that looks like a sun to me. This was some silk. This, I want to do some landscape quilting, and this just looked like stones to me. So that's going to be great to use. Lots of bits of linen. I could stitch around that. This made me think of flour sack dish towels. This looked like the mountains to me, the hills that could be used in landscape quilting. So these are like handkerchief size. This was pure wool, so I might do some eco dyeing on this. Linen, lots of linen. Linen, I mean, look at these. They're already seamed around the edges, so I could do some stitching in them and have them ready to put up as a wall hanging, just like they are. Maybe, you know, sew them to something else. I'm not sure. Trying to decide what I'm going to do with all my little pieces that I've been stitching, because they're only like 4-inch squares. But see, I could take one of those and mount them in the center of one of these. So all kinds of linen. This is just great stuff. This was interesting. So some of this I will play with some eco dyeing. Some of this I will just save for stitching. Some of this will go into some of the fabric books that I'm planning on making. Whoops, skipped one. Feels kind of plasticky. And it was such a good time. There were probably 8 banquet tables, and they were just piled high with all these samples in no really particular order. They were just kind of sorted by sizes. And there may be 10 of us. You make an appointment and you show up at your appointment time, and I thought they were going to kick us out in the 20 minutes of my appointment, or maybe it was 45 minutes my appointment was allocated, but I was still there after an hour, and I just left because I had 2.5 bags full of material, and it was just really comical since I just last week thought I had all my material finally stored in the fabric closet. And this looks like a big stack, right? Guys, this is just the smallest amount of material. This is not the large pieces behind me. I mean, score, right? And they're just saying, you know, take more, take more, take more, because if you guys don't take it, we have to take it back to the warehouse. And then, you know, another week will go by and they'll go into the city and they will pick up more discards. So sad to think about all this stuff used to go to the landfill before they started doing this, but how wonderful. There were a few teachers there, and they were able to get a bunch of small sizes of things that were good for the kids to work on. And I mean, when I say a bunch, it's like one of those plastic bins that was already filled with stuff for teachers, and they were just able to take the entire bin for free. So it was a gold mine for them to find places for people that would take the stuff, and it was a gold mine for those of us that were looking for stuff. It was really a fun, fun time. Like a kid in a candy store. I was never let loose in a candy store before, but this has to be what it felt like. You would hear that somebody was looking for black, and somebody would pull up a piece of material that was all black. Who was looking for black? And I was looking for greens, and so anybody found greens, they told me about it. Yeah, so many of these just look, since they're already sealed, this is wool crepe around the edges. I mean, all the edges are serged. I could certainly use these as backgrounds for my stitching. Look at that, for a beach book. Just enough for a hint. That's lovely. And then I would still have pieces of linen for something else. I know some of you are just laughing right now, and that's okay. I don't mind. I had a blast. Oh, these were really neat. There's variations of these colors, and this is linen, but I could picture adding some distress sprays to them. So a bunch of these, and altering the color even just a little more. But there were a bunch of these. So I think now I'm at about a 12 by, yeah, it's about a 12-inch square. So still have the same colors. That looks like birch bark to me. This one could be bark on a tree too, so that would be really nice in a nature journal. And who do we know that's working on a nature journal for her wonderful subscribers right now? That would be me. So I might have been thinking about you guys while I was looking at this fabric and trying to see if there's anything I could add to that journal. And I did find some things. This just looked like sides of mountains as well for a landscape quilt. Okay, those are small pieces. Let's go up a size. Now we've got more linen. Just really looking for the natural fabrics, linens and cottons. Oh, these are still about that 12-inch size, 12-inch square. Look at that. Beautiful. And they had some velvets. I love these together. That could be a small traveler's notebook, couldn't it? Like that. And put this on the inside. Would that not be awesome? So yummy. Love them together. It's got just enough of a shimmer. Pure white. And this was mostly linen. There's a little bit of polyester in there. And people, when I left, the tables were still full and they were pulling out more material as I was leaving. And they kept saying, you know, you want to take this to your car and come back? I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm really done. I have to be done. I also got a what was left on a bolt of cotton duck fabric, which was great. And it was just kind of a natural color. And the bolt is as tall as I am, and I'm 5 feet tall. And there were probably about, I don't know, 4 inches around at least left on the bolt. So all this just said ground and earth and nature and mountains, maybe a stormy sea, all in the same kind of a metallic-y look. And here we have leaves. Gee, where would those go? Possibly in a nature journal. This made me think of Catherine's video, if you haven't watched it lately, where she was talking about doing crayon rubbings on fabric and before you did any stitching to get some background. And I thought that would be really good. I could do some muslin over that and do a crayon rubbing over it, because it's all got this wonderful raised stitching. Same thing with this one. I was thinking of her. More linen. Oh, same thing. So these are linen. Have interesting patterns. Some more linen. So here's my question for you guys. A lot of these samples have got these wonderful eyelets that are all nicely set, or I guess they're grommets because they got a back on them, nicely set in here. So I'm trying to figure out how, I figure I could probably color them with alcohol inks, but how can I utilize those in making a journal or in making something else? What else? I mean, it would be good, I guess, for wall hanging, but give me your ideas on how I could use those without cutting them apart. There was one gal there that was looking for them. I didn't quite catch all that she was saying. She was going to cut them and do like a keychain, a fabric keychain with them. That pretty? It looks like watercolors, and I could imagine adding French knots into all those flowers. Green, of course. Green, green, green. Okay, getting a little bigger here. That was kind of a neat print. More green. There were a lot of things where the prints were so big that I couldn't picture what I would do with them, you know, in the kind of work that I like to do, but they were working good for some other people. This one, because I just couldn't resist the blues too. Oh, and this feels so good. Some leaves, and that sort of matched nicely together, so that could be a nice journal. All right, that's that stack. But wait, there's more. Let's see. Now we have, that was really pretty. I like that pattern. This was silk. Look at that. I'm looking at my camera here and I barely have enough room to get you all in frame. Some linen, some jute. I love this. This just looks like something we've done with maybe some tie-dyeing or some ice dyeing. And the bohos. They were laughing at me. Nobody there knew what a boho journal was, so I was talking all about our journal making and boho colors and how perfect these would be in boho journals. This one's kind of psychedelic. Look at that. I love it. This feels really good. It's like couch or chair material. And same here. So I could totally picture those two together as well. Nice heavy duty journal. So you would have your cover out of this and your inside out of that. And we had some velvets that I grabbed because they look so nicely with these. That looked like they're just about the right size for a journal. I haven't measured them out yet, but I was thinking I could maybe use the grommets as a closure, or if you went this way, it could be a purse. Yellow again, I was thinking of sun, leaves. I don't know if there's enough on that to be able to do a rubbing. There might be. Some more little silk. The blues, love the blues. Peacock, that also said boho to me. And some of these just said carpetbagger journal. I mean, it's so soft. And they had matching solids that would look really nice with them. Velvets, brocades. I mean, look at these. These are bigger. So I think, let's see, do I have a piece of paper? So if this is my standard paper and I would fold it in half for a signature, I could, it's gonna be a little tall. It would work, but it's kind of tall on a lot of overkill there. I don't know, what do you think? Is that too much? Is that too tall, too much extra space all the way around if I was able to use that as a journal? Let me know what you think down in the comments. But look at, I mean, I couldn't leave these, right? And of course I could cut them up and maybe reposition where the holes are and do kind of a patchwork with several of these, or mixing the solids with them with these velvets. Just yummy, yummy fall colors. You know, and we're all talking down there saying, well, if this is what they're getting rid of, wow, what do they still have in the showroom? Some more of these brocades. Look at that. Maybe that's what I should use for the cover of your nature journal. And then just put one of the gel printed leaves on the front of it. So these are all more of the brocades. So soft. And this, get rid of my pile here. This just looked like a real vintage piece of material. I couldn't leave it there. Flowers, some more solid. But wait, there's even more. Okay, this is the last pile. This is probably the longest haul video I've ever done. So this is slightly bigger than the last batch. These solids, these are cotton. So soft. All these colors. And then linen. And all these great colors. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Maybe I like the idea of doing a patchwork. If I cut these apart, I could maybe use 3 grommets to make it the right size to be able to use them as a closure, and then sew them together kind of in a patchwork. Liking that idea. This also said vintage to me. More linen. Ugh. Old green. I might have to make myself one out of this. I just love this. Linen, linen, cotton. This is kind of heavy duty, so this would be a nice strong fabric notebook. It's got some nice texture on these. This could also be used for a landscape quilt. And these are all cotton. Some more of the brocades. Carpetbagger, lots of carpetbagger books in my future. So yeah, I'm going to have to be doing those fabric packs I keep talking about, because obviously I won't live long enough to use up all of this stuff. And I want to be able to have room so I can go back again when they come out next time. Greens, tans, this is linen, 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 linen. You start to know the designers, who's using what material, so then you could go looking for by designer as well. Another vintagey looking linen, 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 linen. And then the biggest pieces. These are huge. These are about 27 inches square. So there's a lot of material on here for me. This just, it's that flocked chenille, I guess. I remember my mom having a bedspread sort of like this when I was a kid, and it just spoke to me. Big pieces of linen like that. More linen. I was thrilled to find these big pieces of linen. It has some nice, and it's, you know, you can see through it, so you could do a solid color of something underneath it that would look really interesting. That was really pretty. That might make a good fabric rubbing. Look at this. Ah, this was yummy. Really, really like that one. This, of course, said cobblestones or something to me, so that's definitely good for using in a landscape quilt. Listen to me talk about making a quilt. I have never made a quilt in my life, but I want to. This reminds me of my blue bottles. Same thing with this one. This said earth to me, and it feels so good. Let's see, does this have a label on it? It is Traveria. I have no idea what that means, but it sure feels neat. It's really thick, so it would be a good journal cover. This was just for the texture. It was just very, very interesting. Kind of a blue-gray, green texture. This one for the leaves, of course. So I was thinking I could maybe paint them or rust dye it and see what happens. Linen, 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 more linen, more linen, and more. How awesome is that? So that is my Fabmo score of the year, probably. That was just so much fun. Most fun I've ever had shopping and not spending hardly any money at all, except for my donation when I left. So that's what I have for you today. I actually have a couple more haul videos to share with you, some happy mail or friendship gathering stuff. So there's some more hauls. Just trust me, there's some more hauls coming in your future, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.